I get itchier scrolling through a sea of home theater recliners, trying to figure out whether any of them will actually make your movie nights feel a little more like a personal cinema instead of just another piece of furniture you'll regret buying. You've probably already imagined the perfect setup: a deep black sofa that cradles you in zero gravity, a built-in tray for snacks, a place to charge your phone without getting up, and a leather finish that still looks classy after a few years. The worry is real. Spend a few $100s on a recliner that looks great on paper, and you might end up with a seat that's uncomfortable, flimsy, or just doesn't fit your living room flow. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's break down what the Weilianda Astronaut zero-gravity home theater seating actually brings to the table, and more importantly, when that package translates into genuine value for you. This isn't a spec sheet readout, it's a look at how the design choices affect everyday use, what kind of household will get the most out of it, and where the trade-offs lie. First off, the zero-gravity claim isn't just a buzzword. The seat angles the backrest and footrest into a position that distributes weight more evenly across the body, similar to the recline you'd find in a premium airline seat. In practice, that means if you settle in for a 3-hour binge-watch session, you'll feel less pressure on your lower back compared to a traditional upright sofa. For anyone who suffers from mild back discomfort or just wants to lounge without constantly shifting, that geometry can be a real game changer. The downside is that the reclining mechanism is a bit bulkier than a simple pullback sofa. You'll need a bit more clearance behind the unit to let the footrest fully extend, which can be a problem in tighter living rooms where the wall or a bookshelf sits close behind the seating row. The leather is marketed as top grain, and you'll notice that immediately when you run a hand over the surface. It feels smoother than a standard synthetic upholstery and has that subtle grain that ages nicely. In a family setting, though, you'll want to keep a coffee table nearby for drinks, because while the leather is relatively resistant to spills, it isn't entirely waterproof. A stray soda splash can leave a dark ring if you don't wipe it quickly. The upside is that the leather doesn't attract pet hair the way a fabric sofa does, so if you have a dog that likes to curl up, you'll spend less time vacuuming. Still, it's not a substitute for a proper leather conditioner if you want to keep it supple over the years. One of the more practical features is the built-in tray table and the phone/tablet stand. The tray folds out from the side of the seat, giving you a flat surface for popcorn, a remote, or a laptop if you're working from the couch. The stand holds a tablet at a comfortable viewing angle, which is handy for streaming services that don't cast well to the TV. In my own test, the tray felt sturdy enough to hold a 12-inch laptop while I typed a few emails, but if you tried to balance a heavy gaming console or a large stack of books, the hinges would start to wobble a bit. That's something to keep in mind if you plan to use the seat as a makeshift desk. The tablet stand is a neat touch, but it's fixed in place. There's no adjustable tilt beyond the preset angle, so if you have a larger device you might find the viewing angle a little too low. Charging your devices while you're settled in is a convenience the Astronaut model tries to capitalize on with a built-in Type-C USB port. The port is located under the armrest, so your cable stays out of the way, and it delivers enough power to keep a phone topped up through a typical movie marathon. If you're using a tablet that draws more juice, you might notice the charge slowing down, especially if you're also playing a game or streaming video. It's not a high-wattage charger, but it does the job for most smartphones. For anyone who hates the ritual of unplugging a charger after a few minutes of sitting, this is a solid, low-maintenance perk. Cup holders are often overlooked until you're halfway through a soda and realize the spill is inevitable. The Astronaut seats have 2 cup holders per recliner, positioned just above the armrests. They're wide enough for a standard 16-ounce can, but not for a large travel mug with a lid. The holders are recessed enough that a knocked-over cup won't splash the leather directly, but the spill could still seep into the seams if you're not careful. If you regularly enjoy a hot coffee while watching the news, you might still want a coaster. Now, who should really consider this setup? If you're a serious home theater enthusiast who already has a projector or a large TV and you're looking to create a dedicated